What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Last Man Standing, Suge Knight and the Murders of Biggie and Tupac. So as you can imagine, this is about Suge Knight, Tupac Shakur, and obviously Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls. And yeah, what I could say about this movie right out of the gate is that it's a really, really solid documentary. It's directed by Neil Broomfield, which I believe is his name. And yeah, I gotta say, I was pretty surprised going into this because I didn't know this was a BBC production or that this was something that aired on the BBC. I didn't know this was gonna be a documentary that was narrated and directed and kind of led by an English person, you know. That's just kind of interesting to see with the subject matter that we're touching on, which is, you know, some gangster shit, you know, some real crazy stuff about the rap wars and the rap gangs and all the different things that were going on in the 90s. You know, Tupac and Biggie are some of the biggest names ever in the rap game and some of the most beloved artists in that game of all time. And, you know, it's just crazy to like think about how many years have passed and the legacy that these two artists have had on the world and how much their story has inspired various other stories and documentaries and has just consistently been something people are consistently interested in. There's a mystery that still surrounds their deaths. And yeah, it was really cool to check out this documentary because it wasn't something that I was super familiar with. Of course, I know who Biggie, Suge Knight, and Tupac all are, but I wasn't super familiar with them outside of the music and the title of who they are and their role in Death Row Records. I just didn't really know too much more outside of that. I didn't know too much about the ins and outs and what led to the tragic deaths and, you know, Suge Knight going to prison. So yeah, right out of the gate, I gotta say this was a very informative documentary, as most documentaries are. And I think that Neil Broomfield did a really good job of being able to relay this information in a really entertaining way. Now, this movie does have some slow moments. I don't have an abundance to say on this outside of the fact that it is fairly informative and well put together. But yeah, this is a pretty breezy, easy watch. There were some slow moments. There were times where I thought to myself, I'm not as excited with what is happening. I'm not really super excited with the way that the information is being told to me. But once it ramps up and really picks up to, you know, the crazy parts of this whole story, which of course are laced in tragedy, yeah, I think that the documentary definitely picked up and was exciting and entertaining to watch. Again, even though you're touching on some pretty tragic events. So yeah, overall, I found that Last Man Standing was a really solid documentary. This movie comes out, I believe, on August 20th, if I'm not mistaken. I got to check it out just a little bit early. And my buddy Mike from Did You See That actually got to check it out way earlier from an early screening that he got to see over in the UK, which makes sense now since I now know that the director and the narrator was actually an English man. So yeah, I found that to be really cool to be able to see a story like this kind of being told from a completely different perspective, from somebody that grew up on a completely opposite side of the world. And it was really awesome to see the various interviews that they had in here, people who were directly connected to Tupac and Biggie and Suge Knight, some people that were just kind of associated with those around them, some of those that maybe were just kind of in the area but didn't really know these people all that much. So it was cool to kind of get these different stacked layers of information from various people who have had, at least in some way, shape, or form, some sort of contact with these people or the people that were around them during this very dangerous and tragic time. You know, it's really crazy to think back and just kind of remember the legacy that these people had while I was growing up and how they've continued to have this legacy and how we are continually getting things like this that are consistently unfolding their story and trying to get that story out there for more and more people. I think at the end of the day, you know, without a doubt, Suge Knight definitely seems like the biggest villain in all of this. And it's kind of crazy after watching this to kind of have all this new information on the situation. But it's definitely super clear that, you know, the tragedy behind the deaths of Biggie and Tupac are even more tragic, having been able to get all this information. You know, they just died way too young, and it's just crazy to see how much they were wrapped into in such a young age. You know, how much they were wrapped up in at such a young age is just kind of mind-blowing. And to see a lot of the really dangerous things that the individuals that were interviewed in this movie, like the things that they talk about, to hear about the things that they talk about, to know about what they saw, wild, super crazy. So I don't have much more to say on this. Definitely wanted to get this review out to you guys really quickly. Yeah, comes out on August 20th. I don't know if it's going to be a limited release in terms of theaters, but I know it'll definitely be released on VOD, and I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about this film. So if you've seen it, please comment your thoughts, and if you haven't seen it, are you interested in this? Are you guys big fans of rap, Tupac, Biggie, Suge Knight, Death Row Records? Definitely want to hear any and all comments down below in the comment section, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.